Hey guys, I am back in the shop with my #1 assistant.
Hello.
So, something cool from Blade HQ, which arrived a day early. I'm really happy. So this is something that I've wanted to do, and it has also been a viewer request for a little bit. Sort of, kind of. So we're going to take a look at, you know what, I'm going to open it up. And we'll see. Yeah. Yes, another box from Kershaw. It's another video we're going to do a little later. Also arrived today, a day early. So I've wanted to look at this knife for a while, and I've had it on my wish list at Knife Center. Sorry, at Knife Works. And then I saw a cool deal, a discount from Blade HQ. Now the coloring on this was not exactly the one I wanted originally, but this is I guess a limited, sorry my hands are all lacquer thinnered out from cleaning my spray gun over at the Cerakote table. Made in the USA, first of all. I don't know how everybody's going to feel about the color on this one, but the Launch 7 is the one automatic Kershaw I really wanted to look at. Now, the Launch series is Kershaw's automatic knife series. This thing is light. There's different ones. I've really liked the 7, and I've seen it in kind of a gunmetal gray, and I've seen it in kind of like an OD-ish green, and then I saw this one in the teal on Blade HQ. And you know, Blade HQ has their signature blue series. This one again was on sale, and it was like, hey, discount price, and I was gonna click the button on the Knife Works anyway, which I still might get, because my original thought was I'll get the teal, and fortunately I work at a place where I can change the color to anything I want, and laser on whatever I need to again. So a lot of, and somebody said no automatics have locks. A lot of automatics do have locks, especially Benchmades and everything. This one doesn't. I'm just going to go ahead and fire it up here. Very nice action. This is the first automatic Kershaw I've seen. So you can see there the blade is CPM 154, which is a better quality steel than we usually see from Kershaw as well. So this one, higher end, made in the USA. The 2-finger lock I'm often talking about, perfect in this knife right here. Love the drop point blade. Decent thickness. Now I'm in the shop, so I don't have anything to compare it to right now. I'm going to edit in, this will be after the fact, but a comparison to some of my favorite automatic knives from some other companies, so we'll see that. So some of the knives I'm going to compare this to, they're all Benchmades. Some of my favorite autos. There's one I really wanted to get here, but I couldn't find it. It's a Rob Dalton. It's very similar in size, not so much shape, but blade width and everything. I couldn't find it. But it's also, button opening. My knives are, this is why I'm reorganizing everything. And because you guys have asked so many times for a complete collection vid, and they're all over the place, but it would have been really nice to compare that. But so, a lot of the automatics that I have, I've been issued the AFO 2. Now this is not an issued one. This is a special edition one. But again, if you look at kind of the difference, this one is a heavier, bigger one. This would be, the military issues this out. This would, be more of a, I don't want to say hard use, but definitely not as EDC friendly as this guy right here. Now this is the 2750. This is the Auto Adamas. This is one of those ones that if you're not careful with it, it will go right out of your hand. It's, an axis lock auto. I've seen people who were not prepared for it to have a good grip on it. With the force of that spring and the weight of the blade, it flips right out. Now, this is, Benchmade's kind of hard use folder, and you can see the difference in the width of the blade there. much heavier. I haven't held an Adonis in quite a while. I'm going to carry one around for a while. But anyway, I don't know if this has an NSN number or not, to tell you the truth, for being issued at all. But, you know, this is a first production that I just keep as a collection queen. I had another one that I bought with, you know, black scale and everything, and I gave it to one of my best friends when he deployed once, and he still carries it. So I haven't used one of these in forever, but I mean, this kind of illustrates the difference between a very EDC friendly knife and one that's kind of, you know, intended for hard use. And if you want to see how the regular Adonis holds up, I mean, hard use, I've got a hard use kind of test and challenge, a series of videos. It's pretty good. And then finally, this is more of an EDC kind of knife. Now this has also been issued out, but the 9130, the Auto Aries, this is much similar in kind of weight. Look at the blade width and everything. Aluminum, you know, lightweight aluminum construction and everything. Now again, Benchmade always gives you this lock just in case. Some other companies do too. But you know, I should have compared it to the Ganzo that came in Battle Box once upon a time, the Auto. I just don't feel like the quality is nearly the same. So, you know, this is lighter than all of them, and this is kind of one of the most, I would say, EDC friendly autos that I own. You'll notice I did not compare it to the Infidel I have, 3300, the OTF, or the Vipertech Blade City Deadpool one I have, because I just don't even want to compare it. I don't think it's the same thing at all. I tell you, this one is a lot friendlier folding up. You know, you don't fight against spring tension as much, but you don't. It's still just as snappy in opening. So just a quick comparison. I really wish I had that Rob Dalton. I knew where it was. All right. Now again, that'll take place later. What you just saw, so I can't reference those comparisons right now. But again, very lightweight, very comfortable. Not a big fan of the clip, but the ergonomics of the handle are great. Very slim. This is what I would consider a really good, I mean, I'd have to say EDC automatic opening knife. Now, some people might say, I thought it was called a Switchblade. The technical term is automatic opening knife, and if there is any confusion, I did what I think is a superb video on the difference between automatic, assisted, and manual opening knives. And I will put a link to that video in the video description if you want to check that out. That really breaks it down, I think, very simply and talks about some of the laws and everything and the differences. But this is just, it's a nice shape. It really fits the hand well. I think the reason I don't like the clip is just because the frame itself is so slim that the clip just seems to bulge out just enough that you really feel it. Now, if it was kind of a wider, bulkier handle, I don't think you'd feel that clip as much because there'd be more of your, knife in your hand. But again, for that EDC type weight and size, that's very nice action. Wow. Now, there are some automatics that are easy to do one-handed. There are a lot that are not. This is not, I mean, one-handed opening, of course. Not very easy one-handed closing. But you do get a lot, I mean, take a look, you get a lot of blade length for whatever you need to use it for. So when it comes to the action here, very nicely balanced between the spring force ejecting that blade out and control. And when I talk about that, that's important because there are some automatic knives out there, when you want to open it, it's got so much force, until you get really used to it, it will actually want to fly out of your hand.
perfect example. And again, at this point, I don't know what I will do the comparison to when I get home. But the Benchmade 7505, it has such a heavy spring and such a heavy blade that if you're not used to that knife and you just open that thing up, it will tumble right out of your hand. The 2750, the Auto Adamas, also like that. Just the blade's so heavy, the spring tension is so tight that it is actually, until you're used to it, it's a hard knife to control. This, just the perfect amount of tension, and you can feel it. Now I also have some that are, you press the button and it's like it barely gets it open. Some, kind of poorly made ones. This one is just a perfect balance there for automatic opening, but not wanting to jump and fly out of your hand. If you take a look, in between, it's like just clean in there too. You can't, like, all the function is coiled up right there in the spring. There's nothing in there. I mean, it's just two nice clean pieces of aluminum and the functioning there and the button lock. So you guys have really wanted to see, I've gotten a lot of requests for the launch. Not necessarily, hang on, plastic backspacer, by the way. But a lot of requests for the launch. I've always liked the Launch 7. I've just been asked to show the Launch series. And this one has always spoken to me. It reminds me of a little bit of the ZT 0392 series. Remember, ZT Kershaw, same family tree. So, seeing a little bit of the same lines is not uncalled for or unexpected. But I think what we need to do now is we need to get a piece of paper and some 550 cord and test this guy out. Oh, that is so super smooth. That's beautiful. That was awesome. That was amazing. I hate to say it, but I don't know if it's the steel that we're working with, or that it is a difference between made in the USA manufacturing and what they do with their other stuff, but this is a great knife. Nicked myself, but I'm okay. Fantastic. Awesome. Now, the test that I'm dreading doing, but it's important, especially when, you don't have a lot of the security you do with some of these automatics with some other ones, but let's see if that affected anything here. Guess not. Awesome. I really like this. Now, somebody is going to, I already mentioned that I had made a great video, in my opinion, one of the best videos ever made in the history of mankind, about the difference between an automatic or a switchblade knife versus a spring-assisted knife versus a manual opening knife, and what the mechanics are and how they're different. And I touched a little bit on the laws. Somebody invariably always comments about the illegality of switchblades or this or that, or the 1952 law regarding switchblades and all this other stuff. I've addressed it a lot. I will say that the federal law regarding switchblades and automatic knives, number one, applies to interstate commerce. It does not apply to personal ownership. It does not apply to you carrying your knife places. It applies to commercial applications, number one. Number two, and if you look at, there is no federal law, none, that actually talks about the legality of owning a knife or carrying a knife. I want to clear that up. Number two, knife laws vary greatly from state to state, county to county, even city to city within an individual county. Like, what's cool in upstate New York is very different than what's cool in New York City. In fact, that's one of the great examples. 40-minute drive from New York City to up in Westchester County or north of Westchester County, totally different knife laws. Very, very different knife laws. So before people just poo-poo and say, oh, that's totally illegal, it's not. There are lots of places where this would be totally legal. And then there's lots of variables. Do you have your concealed weapons permit? Sometimes a military ID makes this totally legal to carry where it would be illegal for everybody else. There are plenty of places where carrying this knife is perfectly legal. With nothing. And then there's a big difference, guys. A big difference between ownership versus display versus carry. Okay, so, you know, when we talk about the legality factors, before you just chime in there, take some time, know what your local laws say, because it really can be a huge difference, like I said, where you live, and then whether you're talking about owning the knife, displaying the knife, carrying the knife, big, big differences. And I mean, and not just for switchblades, for knives, all different kinds, blade shapes, sizes, everything like that. So, you know, don't just assume. Look it up. Know what your individual local laws are and what you're subject to. So, anyway, I think that this is a real solid winner. Now, this one, of course, you know, on sale at Blade HQ, but you can find different finishes, different colors in various places. If you're in the market for an affordable automatic, good quality automatic, this is cheaper than a lot of the made in China Microtech type clones that I've seen. A lot cheaper than a lot of inferior ones. And you know, people want to talk about OTF versus something like this. You're not buying yourself any speed advantage or anything, in my opinion. OTF looks cool. I don't. The only thing an OTF gives you is, you know, you have your double action, so out the front auto and then back in auto. And Benchmade only has like one model or 2-3 models of OTFs. Most of like Benchmade, and I'm using Benchmade as an example. I know a lot of people don't like them now, but they've have a long string of automatic knives that they've supplied to the military under contract, and the vast majority of them are side opening button ones like this. Most of the ones that I've been issued military-wise, in fact all the ones I've been issued military-wise, have been those button openers, not OTFs. It's gimmicky, it doesn't really do much for you. So anyway, what do you guys think about the Launch 7? Those of you who have asked me to take a look, there you go. I really am a fan. I'm glad I have it in my collection. I'm not sure if it's something I'm going to carry. I don't normally carry autos because the truth is, look at that deployment. Speed of that blade versus, so let's do that one more time. And this one's totally manual. I can one-handed all day long with it, you know. So I think that there was a time and a place when you're talking about like the average pocket knife was the buck 110. And then, you know, your automatic, your switchblades came along, and it was a jump in technology and was a lot faster. They're cool to have, and there are situations where this over a lot of others might be very convenient. And it certainly is a great knife. I'm not putting it down, but I think that there are a lot of great knife designs out there where, you know, you don't need an automatic knife to have a solid one-handed opening knife. You know, anyway, that's just my opinion, my thoughts. You guys can weigh in on what you think. So, what do you think of the Launch 7? You guys happy to see it now that you've seen it? Anybody interested in picking one of these up? It is light as hell. It is really nice. Love to see it. Once again, I always say this, deep carry clip. You could probably find yourself an aftermarket deep carry clip to put on there, which, you know, I would enjoy, but I think it's a solid investment. I really like this guy. So, all right. It's an awesome knife. I probably will keep this one in teal and then pick up the one from KnifeWorks in, I can't remember if it's like the gunmetal gray or the OD green, or if it is gunmetal gray, I'll probably make it sniper green. It's Cerakote sniper green. It's a great color. Thanks for sharing this with me. Definitely, stress again, look up your local knife laws. Know your local knife laws. Like, you are your own best advocate. Don't rely on what some shithouse lawyer tells you, or what we call the barracks lawyer, or, you know, you heard from a guy who heard from his friend's brother's sister's cousin's uncle's friend's former roommate. You know, don't get caught swinging in the wind. Know what the laws say for you in your local area, and you might be surprised. You know, you might be able to carry a lot more than you think. Who knows? All right, guys. You all are super awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.